Call of Duty's in a super weird state. Modern Warfare 3 came out. Fans are pretty much enjoying it, but it's only the fans from Modern Warfare 2 that really stuck with the game, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what is Call of Duty doing wrong? Well, I'm Kid Covert. You're the viewer. You already knew that, so let's get right into it and answer the question. Now, I'm just going to say this and make it really clear that I enjoyed the hell out of Modern Warfare 3. It's one of my favorite Call of Duty games within the past few years, and I'm so happy that I actually have been enjoying this game. Yes, there are my own personal issues. One being freaking packet burst. It's been like 4 months since the game came out. Can we fix that? The second being SBMMM. There's not much we can do about that. We're still waiting on the whole Activision, Microsoft to give us more of a report on the matchmaking system that they said they would. But what else am I talking about? Now, these are things that I feel like Call of Duty changed for one, the sake of changing, two, made the game feel more inconsistent, not as fun as it used to be, kind of overcomplicated things. So I'm just going to run through them. And the first thing being Gunsmith. Now, Gunsmith was really cool when it came out in Modern Warfare 2019. The more realistic approach, everything having its weight and balancing that sort of way was cool in practice. It was cool as a gimmick to get everybody playing the game. But honestly, I feel like it hurt the game more than it should have. It slowed the game down a lot more. Yes, the movement was fast, but when it came to being viable in gunfights, moving fast was not a viable option. And having your gun slow you down to ADS was also another issue. Even if you kitted out to have a super quick ADS and movement speed, then your shots were not accurate. The recoil was kind of crazy. Thankfully, Modern Warfare 2019 didn't have super crazy visual recoil, but it didn't help. Call of Duty was never a realistic shooter. It shouldn't be that way. It should have been purely arcade, and player experience should be at the forefront of that. Most Call of Duty players, especially for years, they aren't looking for milsims. They're looking for a fun FPS arcade shooter. And I feel like from Modern Warfare 2019, Call of Duty kind of forgot about that, which was so weird because it was an entire turnaround from what we had in Black Ops 4. Now, personally, Black Ops 4 wasn't my favorite. Did I hate on it a lot when it came out? Yes, I did. I didn't even play it, and that's my own personal choice. Once I went back and played it, I realized it wasn't as bad, but the whole specialist thing, I was kind of tired of that. That really broke that game for me. I feel like a better balanced way would have been a traditional from Black Ops 2 pick 10 system. If you want more attachments, then you had the option to sacrifice something else from your class, whether it's lethals, tacticals, secondaries, perks, whatever it is. It made you feel like your entire kit was more tuned to you and what you prefer. I feel like those decisions mattered more than what we do in Gunsmith, and the 70 plus attachments, and half of them are like a similar red dot sight that just look different from around the sides. 3 of them are mainly viable. It's just a lot, and I feel like it's all kind of gimmicky because yes, there's going to be better ones than others, and you love giving the player choice, but too much options just get confusing and everything gets jumbled between each other, and you have to run these different combinations. And I'm not saying put like 3 optics in the game or 4, but having multiple of them almost be the same thing. Some of them are more or less the same with a different color reticle. And remember Black Ops 1 where you could change the reticle as much as you wanted? Black Ops 2, these games let you do these things before it became kind of like fluff. And I feel like that's a big problem. I feel like Call of Duty tries to fluff their game out to seem like there's more content than there really is. But if you're giving me 6 of the same sights with different color reticles, don't call it that. Just let me change the reticle. And yes, I know a lot of them have slightly different shapes around and provides different visibility. Some of them do provide different zoom, but most of them are very similar and they don't make that much of a difference between each other. And I'm speaking from a purely aesthetic standpoint in terms of how much border there is around the optic and the reticle itself. Not per se the weight on the gun, the ADS time, all those things. Yes, it makes it more in-depth when you want to fine-tune it, but again, it just becomes a little more confusing that way. Next up, Warzone, and having Warzone be Call of Duty's main focus. This year on the multiplayer is a little bit different. I feel like they're actually focusing on the multiplayer and putting the best foot forward, but I'm talking about in general, and we're going to get to what's going on with this year versus last year and how that affected Call of Duty in the long run. Having Warzone as Call of Duty's like cream of the crop, most important thing, it affects things like the campaign where everything just feels like it was taken out of Warzone and put in the campaign. Modern Warfare 3's campaign was a decent one if you're really diving deep into the story. Gameplay wise, it was pretty weak. As a standalone title, it was also pretty weak. We'll get into that in a few. Warzone needs to be its own thing, separate from Call of Duty in terms of just balancing, leveling up. It needs to be separate. I feel like it's leaking too much into multiplayer and other aspects of Call of Duty that's really hurting the game more than it's helping. Now, it's very popular and I love to see Call of Duty strive. I've said that multiple times. I love when Call of Duty succeeds. It makes me happy. But I just wish that it was something separate. Now, because I touched on the campaign, we're going to speak a little bit on the campaign. The campaign for Modern Warfare 3 was pretty weak. Modern Warfare 2, as a standalone game, it was pretty decent. The story felt like had nothing to do with anything. Even going into Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, if it didn't happen, was like almost the same thing. The only outcome was that Shepard got unalived at the end of Modern Warfare 3 because of what he did in Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 3 pretty much finished what Modern Warfare 2 started, but I feel like Modern Warfare 2 didn't really start anything. Graves was back because, oh, it's all okay because he turned on Shepard just like the rest of us, but like he didn't send a tank after us. Like, what the fuck? The plot armor in some of these characters are just like so confusing. It doesn't make any sense. For example, when Soap died at the end of Modern Warfare 3, and this is a spoiler alert, I'm sorry I'm saying after, but it's been a few months after the game has come out, and I'm pretty sure most people have seen it already, so I'm just gonna say it anyway. When Soap died, it didn't feel real. It didn't feel like it hit. They showed how it affected Price, but didn't really show how it affected us. Soap was kind of like a background character, I feel, and he didn't play the same way that he did in the original trilogy. Now, if you really want to tug on the heartstrings of the player, then Gaz dying would have hit harder because we played as Gaz. Gaz has more of a vocal presence when it comes to the game, at least in Modern Warfare 2019. 2 and 3, he was just kind of there, and it feels like the only character that I could really care about was Price. But then at the end of the day, when somebody dies in the campaign, then they just bring them back a few seasons later like, oh, they're not really dead. Like, what is this? It makes it feel like these events don't matter. On top of that, the last 3 Modern Warfare games all had the same plot. We need to find the missiles. We need to find the chemical gas. We need to find the missiles loaded with chemical gas. Like, what? Like, we need something more. Modern Warfare 3 did provide a little more of, this is what's gonna happen if Makarov gets loose. It didn't really show or lead up to a Modern Warfare 4 of like, oh, Makarov's big plan is underway. It's already happening. Shit's about to get real. It didn't do that either. So like, while it was a good point in the story across the entire timeline, Modern Warfare 3 story could have been summarized in like 2 or 3 missions, and I feel the same way about Modern Warfare 2. Then the little tidbits of what's going on within the raids and things like that, you really have to invest your time if you want to understand the story, and that's fine. But if you're not somebody that really wants to play these raids or watch these cutscenes, then you're lost at the same time. Now, thankfully, there are channels like Ink Slasher that I watch so I could be up to date on the story, because I don't see the point of playing raids. I don't even have that much time to really go deep into that, but I do care about the story. I'm hoping that Modern Warfare 4 does have a better story, does show what the stakes really are, why we're playing this, why everything that's happening is so important, and why we need to stop whatever's happening. We need to bring that back in Call of Duty. Whether it be over the top or not, that's the best way to have it. Now, Modern Warfare 3. Again, I love this game. This is the game that we should have got last year, though. This game, for me to feel like it's a bit more worth it, I do feel like it should be a 2-year game. Give Treyarch another year. I know that's going to give them like 5 years to work on a game, but Call of Duties have been coming out broken. Patches need to be put in. We finally got a game that we've been asking for a year ago. Let it ride. Let the new content come in. Let it soak in and make it another year. You can easily have a backup with Black Ops 2025. You release the new game, and alongside of it, you do Black Ops 2 fully remastered, or even just campaign remastered and remaster the maps if you want to do that, because I know that's like Activision's thing. It depends how Microsoft wants to handle it. It's all in the hands of Microsoft. I do feel like making Modern Warfare 3 a 2-year game would make the game more worth it to a lot of people, and I love that Activision released a game that pretty much fixed what we were all asking for. I understand that it really shouldn't even be the case that we had to wait for a new game to get everything fixed or get what we were asking for, but nevertheless, at least make the game 2 years. I feel like it's going to be a bit more worth it and would do Call of Duty a lot of justice. Now, there's a couple small things that really do affect this game. One of them, again, is SPMMM. There's not much that we can do about that. We just kind of have to take it as it is. If you want to play Call of Duty, there are other games that don't have that. For example, X-Defiant will be coming out. The second one is, I feel like projectiles have been an issue since we started using projectiles instead of hit scans. I feel like, especially with packet bursts and all these latency issues that Call of Duty has been having lately, it makes the game feel even more inconsistent. And dealing with that does not make me want to play more. Dealing with packet bursts and all these things on top of SBMMM, where I have to work as hard as I do on my day job, it's not fun. Something needs to be better, whether it's packet bursts. And no, it's not my connection. I know for a fact, I've double checked, triple checked check, quadruple check. And I'm also not the only one that suffers from this from playing on PC, which really sucks because the PC community is a big part of the Call of Duty community now, and I hope that gets fixed. I'm gonna complain about this for like every video I do on Call of Duty until it gets fixed or until the next one comes out. Now there are a lot of little things that I'm sure a lot of you guys have in mind, but if I miss anything, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think, or if you guys agree with a lot of what I said. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you guys did enjoy the video.